I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and I just threw out a perfectly good episode of 10 Minutes with Nick because I didn't like what came out. You know why I didn't like what came out? Because you deserve better. You, gentle listener, you 37 subscribers, you deserve better than a jumbled mess. You deserve a focused mess. Yeah, I know what I said. Deal with it. So I'm going to draw in my focus a little bit. I'm going to drill down. Today's podcast is inspired by a quote I saw online that decried the moral decay of society and the decay of the relations between the sexes, the genders. Obviously assuming male and female as the genders they are referring to. This is neither the time or place for me to pick apart the quote and discuss the rainbow that we have, I suppose, in today's society. I will simply sum up as thus. You are welcome to be whatever you'd like to be, and I support you in whatever decision you choose to make. There. I support you. Not financially. I don't have that kind of money. But I suppose emotionally, I support you. Anyway, do as you like. It's a free country. It's America. You're welcome to do it. If you identify as a dog, I will begin to raise questions. If you identify as a cat, I will raise questions. If you identify as a horse, I will put a saddle on you. I'm sorry. If you identify as a horse, I will put a saddle on you. I don't know. I don't get to spend a lot of time around horses. And I think it would be, if one of my friends would identify as a horse for me, I would really appreciate that. That's slightly off color, slightly offensive, but that's okay. Engagement, it's key. Anyways, I heard a quote decrying the decaying of society and the decay of gender as attributable to, wait for it, we're going to be making fun of the red pill community today, as to the rise of feminism. Now, feminism in its most basic sense is about equality for women. And before my comments get flooded with, disagreements with me about equality for women, look, women didn't even have the right to vote in a country that's exists since 1776 until about the 1920s. So, in terms of equal, it's not there. The math doesn't add up on that. Wait another century, maybe it'll add up on that. And you can say all you'd like that the laws now, currently there are no laws strictly restricting men from women, but certainly women feel that there are a lot of things and laws restricting them from being equal to men. As long as somebody feels unequal, you do still have something to address. As long as somebody feels unequal. Just because you can say, oh, but if they feel unequal, but they're not actually unequal, then they are equal and they just don't accept it. Well, that's not necessarily true, because if you are truly equal, you don't really have to think about it. It's not a question in your mind. You don't wonder. You don't wonder if you're equal. It's just sort of something that is just true, left, right, or center. So this quote talking about the decay of society because of the lack of classical gender roles, specifically because of the rise of feminism and the rise of girl bosses. Now, what is a girl boss? Look, the definition is going to change depending on who you ask. My definition here will be essentially, when you talk about a girl boss, you're essentially discussing a woman who operates as a man, not in a gender way. She operates as a man in terms of ambition. She operates as a man in terms of career driven, and she operates as a man in terms of her role or how she operates within society. So for her, children are not her primary concern, or even if they are, it does not get in the way of her career ambition. This is, according to the quote, according to the podcaster who said this quote, the decline of Western and moral civilization. And there's a whole community online that would agree with that, the red pill community. The red pill community, as I've talked about before, is a community of disaffected young men who are being fed something of a hook, line, and sinker method of advertising. Because everything in the red pill community and everything in every community is an advertisement. And liberals, don't you think you're getting away from this either? You are also just walking advertisements. You're looking for the dough. You're looking for the money, the clicks, the engagement. If you pretend you're not about the clicks and the engagement, then you are lying to yourself and you are lying to your fan base. You want the clicks, you want the engagement. The red pill community also does. They are the problem. My problem with the red pill community more has to do with the fact that because they fill the minds of disaffected young men, these disaffected young men begin to try to retake the power they feel they have lost. Now, I talked about this in the podcast episode you'll never hear because I destroyed it, but it makes a lot of broad historical assumptions that aren't necessarily true, that don't necessarily hold up under tough scrutiny. But it mixes those broad societal and historical assumptions around some things that are in fact true. For example, women don't like men who are not confident. They don't want long-term relationships with men who aren't confident. But the fact is, nobody wants a long-term relationship with anybody who's not confident. The fact that it's true does not then justify saying things to the effect of, oh, I don't know, anything that comes out of the fresh and fit community. I mean, that's, you listen to that, and like these two have, like Fresh and Fit, who have built this podcast and sort of this following in the red pill community. I will say this for the two of them. They are brilliant marketers, they are hard workers, and the two of them do put kernels of, there are kernels of things that I agree with in what they say. The problem is it's surrounded by so much BS, I don't know what to make of it. They have an audience, and they have a strong audience. The problem is they don't present any challenges to their assumptions. They argue that essentially women want nothing but to use men. Men should men should sleep with everything they can, and then wait until they can find a girl at age 40. And when they're age 40, they should be looking for a girl who's 20. And to reinforce that belief, the only people they interview on their show is OnlyFans models. Again, not saying OnlyFans models don't have opinions worth having, but you can't come onto a show and with a straight face to a group of men who already feel incredibly threatened by essentially sex workers. You can't come on the show and then say to a group of people, well, no, sex work is absolutely a legitimate profession. Left, right, center, I don't care. Guys, I'm sorry. If you have found your way into the sex work area, I'm sorry. Like, this is not to say anything about me. This is not to make me seem like an exceptionally good person. This is not to make me seem like I'm not an idiot young man. The things I've done would probably horrify you. But if you found your way into sex work, like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened to you, and I don't know who failed you, and I'm sorry. Where did we end up? We were talking about this quote as sort of blaming feminism for the fall of society. And in general, do you see the confusion we've come to here? Because when you try to unpack what feminism as the fall of society actually means, it just obfuscates the real problems in society. Feminism is not the reason society is falling apart, guys. There's many more reasons why society is not falling apart. But the drive of any person to try and be equal is never the reason why a society falls apart. Societies rise the more people become equal in a society. And by equal, I mean equal in the eyes of the law, meaning that the laws are evenly applied to them as they would be applied to anybody else. Please don't drag me into a conversation about the divorce laws now, because as soon as I opened my mouth, I heard the red pill community screaming about talking about how the divorce laws are unfairly applied to men, how without cause or no cause divorce, no fault divorce, is causing the rise of the collapse of marriages. Well, yes, but it's also causing a lot of women to have the ability to get out of abusive marriages, and probably a lot of men to get out of abusive marriages. It's just that men don't often talk about it because men's mental health issues. Like, guys, you see how we've sort of spiraled here in this discussion? Should be what concerns you about the fall of society. The fall of society is not due to any one block of ideological beliefs. It's due to the fact that the movers and shakers in our society obfuscate, misdirect, and try to shine attention away from the actual issue. which is that individuals with the loudest voices want you to follow them blindly, and they will say anything they have to get you to do it. See, for further evidence, literally any US or worldwide politician. And don't anybody come at me and say, like, yeah, my country's politicians are so much better. They're not. France's politicians are no better. Germany's politicians, they're no better. Finland, Norway, politicians, guys. Politicians are ideologues. The problem with society is not feminism. The problem with society is not, I'd say it's not even toxic masculinity. It's ideologues. And no, women, don't come at me and say, well, ideologues are only because of the patriarchy. It's just ideologues. And if everybody worked together instead of following the ideologues, there would no longer be any ideologues. But that's all I got today. I'm over time. This was a ramble. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, like and subscribe. Of course, if you didn't enjoy it, feel free to leave me a hate comment. Or don't. I'll read it if you leave me a hate comment. I won't respond if it's a hateful one, but I'll read it and I will cry. And you will have succeeded. If you leave a nice comment, I'll smile. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.